Good morning. This is Mr. Lehman with your sign of the times for October 2nd. Brian, you got the first story for us?
Yes, Mr. Lyman. And I see you brought your cat with you. Well, it looks like India have imposed emergency laws amid protests over cremation of a rape victim. In Lucknow, Delhi, police briefly detained several opposition leaders on Thursday as they headed toward the site where a low caste young woman died this week after being gang raped. The latest such attack to whip up nationwide anger and protests. In the latest case of violence against women to grab headlines in India, there was a 19-year-old woman from the Dalit community, and she died from her injuries this Tuesday after being attacked on September 14th near her home. The Dalit community often face violence and discrimination. Police have arrested 4 men for rape. India is one of the world's most dangerous places for women, with a rape occurring every 15 minutes, according to federal data. And basically, groups say that it looks like people are vastly underestimating the scale of this problem. One of the protesters asked in her own language, if you are on the woman's side, why are there rapes every day? Indian women vow to teach their government a lesson.
Thank you, Brian, but there is a huge increase in domestic violence internationally, and I think the primary cause of this is stress. Brian, how are your stress levels at the moment, and what do you do to relieve stress?
Oh, music is great. I play a lot of video games. I like to do playlists. Yeah, lots of different things that I do. Um, all great stress relievers. However, there's one thing a stressed person can do. They should be Googling 12 benefits of boosting oxytocin. Just Googling 12 ways to boost oxytocin. That's something they should be Googling.
Doesn't that relieve pimples?
No, it's got nothing to do with Oxycute them. That was a product back then that teenagers used to use in their pimples. So don't confuse oxytocin with Oxycute them.
Thank you for clearing that up, young man. I never had that issue when I was a youngster. But anyway, I think we just need to be more forgiving to each other. Um, you know, we shouldn't become a punching bag though when we start forgiving. We need to be of service to other people where we can, even if they are a million miles away. You may just find your oxytocin boost there.
If we can all just witness to someone and let them know that we appreciate them, gratitude boosts happiness in both parties, and the grateful person gets as much out of the act as the person receiving the message.
A lot of people feel like things have been taken away from them. And then social media just capitalizes on the whole thing to make you feel even worse.
There's always profit in panic. People create panic to profit. When you engage in social media, You need to break the formula if it stresses you out. Obviously, every day there's going to be recurring things, and if you see it's not working for you, you need to unfriend, you need to lose those interests and start new interests. That's one of the key ways to stay positive, because if things are bringing you down, then we need to eliminate those things in our lives that are bringing us down. I think that's the key. There are positives to the increase of internet use, especially during lockdown. Extroverts and introverts have flourished during lockdown. There's been baking challenges, there's been dancing, creative projects. Kids have spent more time with their families, their parents, more than any other time, any other year in their life. We need to build our resilience on self-care. Mr. Lehman, what can you tell us about seeds?
Well, the S stands for social connectivity. Recent research in neurobiology has emphasized the importance of human beings having many significant relationships. How many real friends do you have on social media? And are they adding value? People are lonely, and this loneliness causes early symptoms of dementia, a weakening of the immune system, and even changes on a chromosome level, which is your biological makeup, becomes negatively affected by too much loneliness. Then we got exercise, the best antidepressant and anti-anxiety tool out there. Now a lot of you are running away to the music room, and that's not on. Because when you run away to the music room, you're going to miss time with the PT teacher. So please get some exercise, even if it's just a walk, because that can make you feel good. Get those endorphins running. At least 30 minutes a day for a brisk walk. It's hard for everyone with our busy lives, but we need to get into the idea of playing, running around, playing a sport every so often. Looking forward to that Springbok green and is it green and gold game coming up. The other E stands for education. Now our brain needs to be exercised, and when we take time to learn new things or challenge ourselves, we create new pathways for our brain's connectivity. As we age, our brain is consistently looking into our reserves of information we have learnt in the past. The more information we have stockpiled over the years will increase our productivity in our later years. Then there's D for diet. What we put into ourselves is what we get out. And we need to not only get good sleep, which is coming up, food, which is not there, but it is important as well. See, exercise is something that we need to focus on. But diet is equally important. And that's just another word for food, but eating the right things, it's really what you're eating. Nutrition is vital. Our brain's health and productivity, and the more balanced we can keep our diet, the more we'll see benefit. And finally, sleep. Healthy sleep is all about the foundations of our sleep cycles, so that we can get the reset button when need to. We need to have functional sleep, meaning that you're not just getting 40 winks, but you're actually sleeping for your 8 hours. 40 wink gedagtes don't work. We can use mindfulness and exercise to help our bodies get back to a healthy sleep cycle. Medications can hinder our sleep cycle as our brain needs to be active during this time to consolidate memories and new information. We need to get some rest, and seeds applies whether there's a virus or not. There were businesses in crisis beforehand, and now when the tide is high and you're naked and you're vulnerable, you need to ask yourself, what am I gonna do now?
Well, if I could walk around with a pocket full of glitter, I'd pass it on to those who have no common sense.
So many people have started indulging in alcohol, dagga, and technology, gaming, gambling. We shouldn't be impulsive and just resign from our jobs when anxiety sets in. In the early days of lockdown, I felt like I had enough of teaching, but now I'm enjoying it more than ever.
Tell me about the mask you're wearing at the moment. People say there's a storm brewing under the mask because people can't see your full expression. So what can you tell me about the mask that you're wearing?
I like this mask. It prevents my specs from fogging. Besides, the beauty of eye contact is that it is the window to our soul. And now is the time to pay more attention to each other.
And you're right. When one communicative part is not visible, we will naturally focus on the others. We just need to slow down and do that. Now is the time to interpret body language and allow the body and eye movement to tell the story. Slow down to see what you can pick up when the other person is speaking to you. Mr. Lehman, what is the new normal about? What is now about?
I don't want to go back to the way things were. The way we interpret each other now and the way we take care of ourselves hygienically, with less cases of the flu. Thanks to COVID, these things have changed our lives for the better. Working from home is here to stay, and I'm glad that the ANC's plundering of PPE brought repercussion on them, and they were ultimately wrapped over the knuckles for it.
Did you know that Elon Musk would like to see us with a chip in our heads? Now's the time for everyone to become a designer. What I said before about removing things that are not being useful in your life. Be an architect, be a designer, remove those things that are not working, polish those things that need to be polished, upgrade those things that need to be upgraded. If things are not working, remove them. That is the key.
Everything that Brian and I touched on, we got from So What Now, presented by Gareth Cliff. And Professor Dennis Goodman of the NYU and the University of Cape Town, he had an interesting interview with Gareth Cliff. If you want more information, you can get it at cliffcentral.com. The full interview is there. What we showed you today was just some of the highlights. Well, it's time to go to bed. So it's a good night from me, Mr. Lehman from Son of the Times.
and it's a good night for me as well. And it's been wonderful sharing the highlights of So What Now with you. Catch the rest at cliffcentral.com. We'll see you guys soon. Good night.